points at 1 point here because they were 0-2. They desperately needed them. So Liquid are currently 18th. They'll get another 18.
Twist is going to FaZe. The Fissure playoffs are in full effect, and Valve made an update that broke the game. You're going to talk about it here today on Queued Up, where the lobby is open, the mics are hot, and nobody is dodging. With me here today, Pat, Davis, Nick, I'm CJ. Great to see all you guys. And I have a question to get the show started. Okay, we went around and we asked everyone, what is your movie that would define FaZe's run at the Fissure Playground? And we're going to ask Davis first. Davis, what was your movie?
My movie was Mission Impossible. I think this describes FaZe pretty well because I think it's pretty impossible to expect them to do good in this event knowing that somebody is getting shipped away when Twist joins your team. And it's a team that you're also playing against in this event. You're taking one of their players. And I'm sure on their team they know who it's going to be. But as a fan, me looking at it, I saw it as Mission Impossible.
Twist is a spy.
Yeah, exactly.
He's taking them down from the inside. I like it. That's good. Pat, what's yours, man?
Mine was Requiem for a Dream. And without the substances, basically, FaZe is basically just like a sad tale of highs and lows, but mainly how it always is going to end is low, and that's where I see FaZe going.
I've actually never seen this movie. So
It's a great movie. Highly recommend.
Great movie. Highly recommend. Just like FaZe. Go ahead, Nick.
Mine is gonna be Gone in 60 seconds.
Oh.
They thought they were coming in fast and furious. However, they're How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, but they were in and out of this tournament quicker than you could. Nicolas Cage can say one of his famous catchphrases.
Which is?
I've got none of them. For some reason, I went straight to Owen Wilson in my head, and I was going to be like, wow, the bees.
The bees.
The bees is a good one.
Well, mine was Cool Runnings because they start out great. Actually, they start out awful, and they have a little bit of a train wreck, and it falls apart at the end. So they started out good, falls apart at the end. It's over. Go ahead. You have anything you'd like
No, I don't. What is this movie?
You've never seen Cool
No,
Runnings?
I've never
Runnings,
seen
brother.
this movie.
This is
What-
great.
what is that movie?
It's a movie about a Jamaican bobsled team. And I don't know if you know this, but there's no snow in Jamaica, so it's a little bit of a
Kinda
struggle for them
figured
to
it's-
start.
a little close to the equator and all.
But ultimately, when they get to the end of the bobsled run, their bobsled falls apart. Which is
Spoiler.
like FaZe.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Wait, spoilers.
Okay, I actually really like this.
This makes perfect sense.
It does. It does. But the Fissure Playground playoffs are in effect, and we've seen a couple of the matches leading up to this, and it's been fun to watch some of these matches. I mean, obviously, I'm a diehard MongolZ fan, so my MongolZ made it through, and I love that. And any tournament that the Falcons are in, I think is a fun one. But we do want to dive into some of these things, and we can start with the FaZe and Liquid match. Ultimately, one of the things that was a little bit strange about this one was that Twist, who is on Liquid currently, is now going to FaZe. They announced, hey, and they did it mid-tournament, and that's kind of weird, right? I got that vibe, but I don't know. What did you guys think about it?
I thought it was super weird, and I was super surprised with how Liquid was able to perform knowing that. And I guess it kind of makes sense, too, because like I just said, you know, FaZe also knew that they were going to have a change to their team. So it's like two teams that know that they're not going to be the same team after this event battling. But I was just really surprised with how Liquid was able to respond and play really well, knowing that, like, even though both these teams haven't been on their best form, I would say personally going into this event, Liquid has looked worse than FaZe. So just seeing them rise up and win 2-0 was kind of crazy.
Yeah, Liquid was almost not even able to compete in some of these events because of where their VRS was at and all the rankings going on. They failed in the European closed qualifiers. They got bounced by some random team who I don't even remember. So, yeah, they were not even close to looking in form. And FaZe has been hit or miss with or without Simple, and now adding Jacob to the lineup. But, yeah, no, this was an impossible task for both of these teams walking in, and Liquid came out on top.
I mean, on paper, when I saw this, I was like, this is a FaZe insta-win. Like, I have zero faith in Liquid to win this. So it was so odd that Liquid was able to show up and win this. Especially, I mean, FaZe was, you know, they started this one 2-0, right? They beat some good teams to get to this spot, and then they ended up here, and then they just fell apart against a team Liquid that I think they should be able to beat handily.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I saw this matchup happen after the announcement, and I was like, oh, well, Twist is just going to throw for his future team. There's no chance. Like, I'm going to bet the house on FaZe to win this match. And the next thing you know, I turn around and it's like 2-0 done, sweep. I was like, what? What just happened?
And the craziest thing for me was that when they made the announcement, the next game that Liquid played, they got absolutely dog ran by Gamer Legion. Like it was like I thought, okay, their tournament's done. Like they take this announcement and they're just going, they're like chalking it up and it's over. But they were able to claw all the way back and now they're in the playoff.
Well, go ahead, Pat.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's just so funny that they do these announcements during the middle of the tournament because I don't think it necessarily affects the players, so to say. Like, I mean, Twist obviously popped off against FaZe, and they had an okay tournament, but Liquid historically has just been doing terrible.
Sure.
And this just leads me more into my good old love for FaZe and the fact that they just can't help themselves, and they just completely get ran over by a team that barely even qualifies for anything, but yet then can turn around and do okay against a team. It's literally just two unpredictable teams going head to head. And Liquid was the one that was popping off this time.
Yeah.
And that's just sad.
It is. I think the other question that I'm asking myself as I see this news too is who is exiting FaZe? Like, so there was I saw this tweet yesterday, but Overdrive did leak that it could potentially be Rain. But I look at that at face value and it doesn't make any sense to me. I think there's a Karrigan conversation to be had. There's definitely a Jacob conversation to be had. Maybe even a Frozen or a Brokey, but I would probably put Rain at the bottom of that list. So it was just weird.
I think it's weird too how that Rain had made that video a couple weeks ago talking about like he is going to be phasing out. He's going to be phasing out of Counter-Strike in the next coming year. So I just think it would be weird to switch up on him now that they like said, okay, in the coming years he will be phasing out of our team, and then you see a few bad results in a row, and it's like actually it's going to be a couple weeks and he'll be out of the team. So I just think it's like kind of weird if it would turn out to be Rain.
I think these past two moves, especially with Alige leaving as well, and he's just sitting on the sidelines right now. It's like, in my opinion, it was Rain and Alige were the two strong points of this team. Frozen would show up on occasion, and Brokey in and out of the lineup, depending on where his emotions were at, would perform well. But yeah, if Rain decides to hang it up and go hang out with his kids and be a husband, like, good for him. But at the same point in time, this team only gets worse.
Yeah.
And no offense to Twist, but
totally. And Overdrive has, definitely leaked news before, and it could be a half truth, but he's normally not been wrong, right? And so that's the weird part for me is like I don't really know what to trust, and I think like when I look at it at face value, I may lean, and I'll throw the softball up to you, Pat, of like a Karrigan route. The Karrigan hate is going on right now for sure, and so like that's definitely one that's easy to be able to justify. But I don't know. Would it be Karrigan for you, Pat? Like, definitely?
I know. For me, for Twist, I don't 100% necessarily think it's got to be Karrigan. But, like, at this point in the FaZe roster and how they've been performing, I'm okay with him taking the mantle for anybody.
Sure.
Hopper, any IGL, entry frag, whichever one. It doesn't matter because I think either one is he going to make a better addition to the team? Who knows? I mean, can you just throw in this one player to a team that's already broken at the moment and it really make that big of a difference? I mean, we saw Simple get thrown into there. Did that make a difference? Nope. They still did bad. They bring Brokey back. They have one like honeymoon game, and then they're back to doing bad again. They drop a lead, bring in Jacob, still doing bad.
They're so inconsistent. And one thing I wanted to say, because I heard Nick say something about it earlier, is Frozen for me is the one that he's just so inconsistent for me. Like this first game against Liquid, he had 5 kills, and Karrigan had like 4. And so it's like we can bash on Karrigan for having 4 kills, but Frozen, who's like their young gunner, who's supposed to be such a good player, he only had 5 for the game. And it's like he's playing so inconsistent that there's just nobody that you can lean on as a rock for this team, and they've got to find it. And maybe it's Twist, but who knows?
Yeah, and I think it begs the other side of the question of who's Liquid going to go get, right? Is it an Alige? Is it somebody else that's on the market right now that they can go try and snag that they like? Because ultimately, Twist is a star for Team Liquid right now. It's probably one of the best players. Maybe Ultimate, you could say, is in front of, or I don't think Naf. I don't know. So, but
I still don't know how Dexter's still not getting any looks out there. That contract situation must be
crazy,
insane for him not to be getting any looks.
Yeah, but I think that's the other side of it is like, what's going on with Liquid and their roster as well. So there must be an upgrade that they think is going to be able to be impactful for them. So,
but yeah, even in that opening clip where we're seeing Ultimate pop off, I think they did a post-game interview with him, and he was like, "Look, Twist has been mentally checked out for a while. Like he wants to go back to FaZe, and we're happy that he gets to go back to FaZe at the same point in time." But it's like, I don't.
Yeah.
If you look at the results, like I went back and I was just like, when was the last time? Because Twist's journey has been Liquid, FaZe, Liquid, FaZe, right? His last map on FaZe was against Vitality. He went 1-12.
No good. I do want to go to the next match. We are going to visit some of this a little bit later as well. But we had Fury and G2 kind of play each other, and I want to talk about that because we've kind of gone over a little bit on this segment. So Mr. Producer's going to kill me a little bit, but it's all good. We get some G2 love in here, right? So Fury and G2, Fury looked great in the series. It was awesome. An overpass that went overtime as well. By the way, I hate overpass, but it is what it is. So sorry. But thoughts, comments on this one?
Karrigan really showed up in this event. Kind of the whole team showed up in this, or not this event, sorry, this series. And like, if you look, it's literally a rematch from what happened at Blast London. And they're both on LAN as well. Like the Blast London one might have had a little bit more merit because it was the playoffs already. But I mean, they're both LAN events, and Furia got ran through in London, and now G2 getting ran through in the event now. So just kind of weird, really, really crazy how they were able to respond, but good for Furia. I think they've been a good team recently. So
I think they've been good, but they've also been inconsistent. There's times that they're winning, and you're like, oh man, yeah, they are a top 10 team, and then again, that is an example of a top 10 team, especially with G2 just winning the Blast Open London. But then they lost. I don't remember the other match that they lost in group stage, but it's just like there's some head scratchers.
Also Aurora,
sure.
I think is who it was.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, and G2 had a much easier path. I mean, I'm looking here. G2 beat Linvision, Legacy, and Gamer Legion to be able to make this, right? And Furious path was Liquid, G2, Aurora, who they lost to, and then Pain. So I would say that, Furia definitely had the tougher road and made it through, and G2 kind of was able to walk into the playoffs. And now they're going to play against the Mongols, so that will be one of the matches to watch for sure. But good. I mean, a good rematch for these teams if they do end up playing against each other. But it was G2 is obviously on this tear since the last event to, potentially be maybe a number 5 team. I don't know. So it's,
we'll talk about that when we get to it.
Yeah. It's like Heavy God.
I'll hang on to that.
Heavy God definitely didn't have a good series against Furia though.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think Furia too. When MongolZ is hitting his op shots, I think that's really like one of the main differences for them. Like obviously you want your riflers to be on top of their stuff too, but when MongolZ is hitting his op shots and he's getting a lot of kills, they usually do really good.
Yeah, they play a lot more confident around that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's go to the feed, Pat. What do you got for us, man?
All right. Well, I'd love to jump back on the FaZe train and specifically more talk about Karrigan. Oh, my goodness. Karrigan has been doing wonderful all these past events. As we look here, it's kind of hard to see this tweet because there's a lot of text. But basically, Karrigan has just went negative rating for the past, I think the past 5 events. He says they went a certain negative. But the more important thing to me is 73 events in a row. Karrigan has went negative in the tournament. Now, not just like per series, but overall statistics of the tournament, he has been negative for 73 in a row. And I think even though he is an IGL, IGLs are necessarily not your top fraggers, but this is getting a little bit much.
I feel targeted.
I'm not, I'm looking at you.
He is staring into your soul as well.
But unfortunately for Karrigan, I do think that it might be worth for FaZe to be taking a look at this. I know Karrigan, I don't want to tarnish his name because he is one of the great IGLs, but it seems like that time has come and gone, and I think it might be time for him to think about potentially coaching,
something else,
stepping away, backseat.
Hey.
Just a thought.
I'm sure it's hard because obviously as a player, you want to continue to play. Like if you have a love for the game, you want to be there, especially with him playing for as long as he has. So it's a hard line to be able to say, like, I got to be done. But also, I'm kind of with you there. Like, you want to leave the Counter-Strike before the Counter-Strike leaves you.
Whoa. Okay, Sensei. All right. I saw this tweet by Pip. I responded to it. I see the stats. I look at it. I understand. My challenge, and I was actually tweeted at Karrigan. I was like, hey, just go positive just to show everybody you can. Because, I think he can. I think he can play the game differently and go positive right now. I don't think that's what he's doing right now. I think he is playing to try and set up his teammates, and his teammates are failing. So I would point the finger back at other folks. I don't think the play call from this team is wrong. I think that everyone looks at the stats and say, oh, you didn't get yours this round, and so because you didn't get yours this round, you shouldn't be on this team. And I don't think there's another IGL that can switch and you can put it in the FaZe spot to be able to make this team even perform like they are today. I think if you switch the IGL out, they drop to a top 20 team, a top 30 team really quickly because those play calls won't be
they're already there.
What are you
What
talking
strats
about?
are FaZe doing that is so magical that Karrigan needs to be kept?
They went toe-to-toe with MongolZ at this event.
Another team that is known
they're
for just
ranked
dropping the
number
ball randomly.
one.
I'm not
They're
saying
number one
FaZe
right
are
now.
anywhere. No, FaZe are nowhere near better than MongolZ.
They're number
I'm just
one.
simply saying that MongolZ have a history of just sometimes dropping games to random teams. Just happens. It happens to everyone. Vitality, they drop games to random teams all the time now. it happens. That doesn't like one up FaZe just because they beat the MongolZ. It's like, nah.
I just don't think the argument against Karrigan is fair that it's all stats driven because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. That's all.
No, but I think to also to Pat's point, it's not purely stats driven. They're not winning, period. Right? Like that playbook that he's had for 12 years on FaZe, it's run up, it's dried out. Like they need a new playbook. He's getting figured out left and right now. It's just not working. And if you're not putting up the stats to match it, something has to change.
Okay. I disagree, but that's fine.
That's fine.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Does it need to be Karrigan that leaves FaZe, or could it be somebody else? Let's go to yours next, Davis. What you got, man?
I have the VAC Shadow ban that recently happened earlier, or the Shadow update that happened, and anti-cheat is updated. We have cheaters getting banned, and the reason I wanted to pull this up is because me and Pat were actually playing a game the other day.
Nice.
And somebody got banned in our game. The game got canceled. Yeah, the game got canceled, and it was super hype. Were you in there too?
I don't think I was.
No,
Did you get your RR, or what do you get?
It got canceled completely.
Completely.
No loss, no
That's-
gain.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm excited about this. It's something that we've talked about a lot on this show, how cheating's kind of getting out of control in a lot of different areas. So obviously, you're never going to be able to completely eliminate cheating, but you love to see devs increasing the anti-cheat and just making it better.
So go ahead.
No, I think the best thing about this is like when this sort of stuff happens, it should happen in the shadows so that the cheaters aren't made aware. It's like if you're like, hey, we're gonna update our anti-cheat, well then the cheaters start working harder in the background. If you start to work in the shadows and you catch them off guard, then you at least have a leg up. However, it is just going to be that constant ring around the rosy of one's getting the upper hand on the other on repeat. So I'm glad to see that a step was taken in the right direction, and I hope optimism going forward. But we'll see.
I love that it's relevant in the fact that you guys had somebody that was actually banned from your
That's pretty
games.
amazing.
Yeah.
And then it's fun because like when you do see the lobbies on whether it's a face it or whether it's, hey, there's a 25K or whatever, and they just start losing all of a sudden, you're like, oh, here we go. This
happened there?
That's weird. That's weird that you just started losing all of a sudden. Like, what happened? And it's like, oh, I guess I turned off my cheats this time, whatever, you know.
And the biggest thing is for me is like you just said, it wasn't face it or anything like that. Like we're just playing a normal premier ranked game, and people are getting banned out of our game. So I thought it was really hype.
Beautiful. Love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, the battle against cheaters is always ongoing, and VAC has notoriously been kind of bad about dealing with cheaters, especially in the past. During the CSGO days, there was a long stint that was filled with cheaters, and CSGO was kind of hard to play at times because there was nothing like that. So I'm glad to see that they're taking the step, but unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do about it. It's like they're going to keep doing it. You just had to keep updating because even like kernel level cheats that we've seen with like Riot and Warzone, even they still have cheaters. It doesn't matter. They're always going to find a way, and you always just have to keep working for it. It's an ongoing battle.
We just got to get back to Mission Impossible so that we can go and we can take down the cheaters' facilities. Okay? We got to hack.
Where's the call coming from? It's on the inside.
It's somebody in the building. Turns out Valve is the actual hackers themselves.
That was didn't Pat say that a couple episodes ago? He said that they're just fueling themselves so that.
Yeah, well, that's all like economy driven. You got to make money. You know,
See?
some might say other games do it. Tarkov. That's what some people say.
Nick,
I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm
just
not
saying.
putting any accusations anywhere. I'm just simply saying stuff. Don't listen to me.
go ahead, Nick.
I'm going to talk about HLTV and that they're moving a majority of their broadcast on over to Kick. Not a fan. Not a fan whatsoever. This is a risky move for HLTV's reputation. They're one of the most respected names in Counter-Strike, and moving over to such a, dare I say, shady service, gambling-driven, it's risky that they could damage their reputation. It doesn't feel like a business decision. It just feels like one that they're going to try and make some money off of. Not a fan.
We've got the three monsters always in this conversation, right? And so we've got the red monster, which is YouTube, our beloved one and only. We've got the purple monster, which is Twitch. And then we've got the green monster, which is Kick. And they all kind of have their own nuances right now. But I can say for this entire event, I chose to watch the rebroadcasts from YouTube than ever going to the Kick website. I never went and watched it on that side. And along that one, just the casters on the rebroadcast, not a great experience on the Fissure Playground event so far.
I went to the Kick website a couple times just to tune in, and it was insane to me the viewership numbers that it was.
Was it good?
No, it was significantly
Low.
lower than normal,
Wow.
and it's kind of what I expected, honestly, with it being on Twitch. And I think that's how it's going to be going forward for HLTV. It's kind of like you said, they might have gotten a bag up front from Kick to be able to put their content on this platform, but I don't think in the long run it's going to benefit viewer-wise for getting eyes on your actual content and having like a sustainable future.
And maybe they shadow banned their view bots as well, because when you said that it was lower, actually surprised me, because for the longest time, Kick has been inflating their viewership numbers.
Yeah, inflating for sure. I think this is a great move. I think it's great for all the degens to just all go to one spot and just take Counter-Strike with it. Might as well, because to me, this screams nothing more than give me that bag. All that gambling money, they're like, sure, we'll stream exclusively on your platform. Who cares about anybody else, any other streaming service? We'll take that fat paycheck because people love us. We're HLTV. And then it's just all for gambling. And we'll talk about later with the new stuff they're introducing. It's just, I feel like Counter-Strike's just going more and more into that way. And Kick, if that's the way it's going to go, perfect home for it. Look at 1-1 right here.
Let's go to the next topic. Here we go. On to the next one. I've got this PGL and ESL events. They've kind of been backing up into each other, but PGL have decided to move their dates around. They're going to end a day earlier so that folks can fly and go to the ESL event. For me, this is one of those, I think Valve stepped in and said, hey, you guys can't be chaotic, because both of them had made different rules and they were trying to really pinch the teams in the middle of it and make hard decisions. But I think the adults kind of came to the room and said, hey, we need a clear path so that people can be able to compete in whatever tournament they'd like in a way that's fair for everybody. And this is what they did. And they're just trying to avoid some of the conflict of, teams playing on Sunday, then having to play at another event the next day in a different country, the travel time, all the things that go into that. It causes chaos. So it's good to see that PGL took the high road on this one. I don't know if there's much more to say other than that.
Did they take the high road, though?
That's why I think it's yes and no. Yeah, they took the high road, but I think they were forced into it because of what IEM/Blast said that they were going to do. And then because the news came out so late, I think there's one or two teams that are just SOL because they already said that they weren't going to do the PGL event because they were doing the IEM event, when they're like, well, now we would have been able to do both. And now, again, because of how confusing and complex the VRS system is, they're missing out on points that they could be getting at one instead of the other. And it's just, it's messy. And I feel like I still put the blame on IEM for even putting it in this situation. I think PGL just did the best that they could given a terrible situation.
I think both of them. I think
Really?
Yeah,
I think if they just could have solved it between both of them, that would have been great. If Valve didn't have to step in and actually fix this, I think is a better outcome for everybody. But I think that they were not able to settle their differences as they were talking to each other, and Valve did have to step in, and that's the reason you got this outcome. Yeah, but that's
It didn't look good for the scene either, seeing them create rules against each other and kind of being toxic as tournament organizers towards each other. That doesn't look good for the scene. So Valve kind of had to step in, and if they could have worked it out between themselves and not made a mess of the situation, it would have been good, but clearly they couldn't do that. So.
Okay, on to the next one. Big story. We're talking 3-0 teams. I think the first one is Falcons. And one of the things that was amazing about the Falcons, because I love the Falcons, is the fact that they crushed Virtus Pro. They put them in the dirt. VP, no more. Falcons showing them how to do it. Okay, Yusuke in the top there, MongolZ. It's all the Falcons, guys.
13-1, 13-2. How about that?
Davis, you could probably get more rounds than that, right?
I would think so. One round is crazy. I mean, maybe they're just that good, though. Maybe they're just that good. We've been talking about the Falcons. Me and you love them. I think they're finally reaching that moment.
Or VP's just that bad.
No. So we got two things here, right? We've got the addition of Toro, who obviously didn't play well. And then we've got...
What do you mean, obviously? That's just Karrigan numbers. That's normal.
No, well, that was actually what I was going to point out next, is the fact that Perfecto is now their IGL, and he's on the bottom of the leaderboard, so he obviously didn't do well in that role either, which, again, I keep coming back to the IGL stuff with Karrigan and with Perfecto and every other IGL. It's like, It really must be that hard in Counter-Strike to be able to think about what you're going to do and be able to shoot your gun. That's crazy.
It can't be. That's what I'm saying. It can't be. Come on, bro. We're all professional players here. There's no way. Everybody in this game is able to decipher what's going on. They all have that level of understanding. And if they're in their face-it games, all of them can IGL their team. They all have understanding of the game. It cannot be that difficult to IGL one of these matches and go double to triple negative.
Well, Perfecto can't do it. So.
You're calling it at the beginning of the round and maybe somewhere in the middle if you're on T.
Yeah.
If you're on CT, you're stuck. You're in default. You know exactly what you're doing. I just don't get it.
Yep. The crutch.
Not good.
But we obviously saw it with Perfecto. He played well last event and just couldn't this one. I know, yes, it was against the Falcons.
The Falcons were looking pretty hot. So, I mean, that's like kudos to them because they've been kind of unpredictable at the moment. You think they're going to do great and then they can fall. But I think this is one of those times where it's like the Falcons going into the playoffs here is like this is pretty much one of their tournaments to win. It's really, between like them or maybe the MongolZ/G2, depending on how they're feeling. And it all depends on MongolZ, the new kid, Kaisuke, if I said his name correctly. Like
nobody knows what it is.
Nobody knows. They all have potentials to pop off, but we've seen MongolZ just sometimes he's in a slump. He doesn't play well. The Falcons, and then they just play bad. The same with him. The same with Nico. Nico's been doing pretty good this tournament so far. His rating right now is like a 1.5 or something like that, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but that's really good for Nico, and I hope that they don't just get into the playoffs and then fall into this slump again because sometimes they just get upset, and then they just start losing. Round after round.
Well, that's where it's like, yeah, they look dominant, but it's like they played VP, who is on the down, no question
about it.
What are you
VP's the best.
Whoever said that?
I'm kidding.
I think two people on the show said that VP was going to go 0-3, and somehow they squeaked out 2 wins. Good for them. And then Legacy, who did go 0-3, and then FaZe, who's on roster turmoil, knowing that they're about to make a change. They beat those 3 teams to get in. It's like, woohoo!
And that's where I don't want to get too ahead of myself because obviously, I mean, I'm a Falcons fan. I want them to do good. I think they're going to do good in the playoffs, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because they haven't played very tough teams leading up to this moment. But they still are 6-0. They haven't dropped a map yet. And I think, the first 2 teams with Virtus.pro and Legacy, they shouldn't drop a map to them. But FaZe, you never know. I mean, like we said, they're super inconsistent and they could show up. Up until the match against Falcons, FaZe was 2-0 as well. So this is the point where FaZe would lose 3 straight after this series. And so I think that they were actually really able to respond well.
Sorry, just look at the top of the leaderboard there, just really quickly. We got Karrigan at the top leading the charge. I'm saying IGLs lead the way, not always.
And that means it's really bad. Really, really bad if that's the case.
But I think Falcons is playing really good. They have 4 players in the top 6 for the tournament right now. So 4 out of their 5 kicks in the IGL, only one not within the top 8.
I'm with you. We'll get to the playoff predictions for sure. The other team is Aurora, 3-0. Kind of, and in some ways, a quiet event for them so far. It's been kind of easy for them to walk through.
I think they've been more impressive than Falcons to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They beat Astralis.
I don't.
They beat Furia, I know. I can't remember who the other team was.
That's right, yeah, Furia was hot.
Who was the other team? I can't remember that. I think it was like a mid-tier team. But this game right here, here we go. Tyloo, that's who it was, yeah.
Tyloo, okay.
But Furia in the Aurora match, I wanted to say Zan Terrace was on a tear. And if he plays like he did in the Furia match, they're a serious contender to win events. Like, he literally was unkillable. He looked like a mini Donk or a Kyosuke going around the map. Right here you see he's 25 and 24 for the series, 21 plus. Yeah. Like, he was frying this map. And a Furia who had just beat G2 and been playing very well.
That's right, yeah. And this Furia, I mean, they're on the bottom of the bracket over here. And they kind of have, I mean, if they can beat the Falcons, they can find themselves in the finals. That bottom of the bracket is very interesting. I think any of those teams can take that. But I do want to talk about underperforming and overperforming teams. If you could throw that bracket back up for us really quickly, Mr. Ninja, I'd appreciate it, man. But any teams standing out here in a good or bad way that you did not expect?
I think the good one for me is Astralis. I mean, I kind of expected them to get better with Magisk being introduced to the team. But also, it is the very first event that he's played with the new squad. So it's like kind of what we were talking about last week with him being back at his old home, maybe, being back to his old self. And you can see it here. They've made it to the playoffs. So good for them.
Yeah. this is going to sound crazy to me, and this is because as much as you guys beat up on Pat, I'm going to give Pat a pat on the back real quick. MongolZ underperformed to me. How do you lose that first matchup? Plain and simple. Against 3D Max. That is insane. They just don't show up from time to time. We're going to talk about them in a second being the current #1 ranked team, and it's just like, you don't lose that map. You don't lose that series. That's an underperformance for me, even though they went 3-1.
Yeah. I like that
because they just drop MongolZ, just drop games. They just sometimes just drop games. It feels like they just get into their head sometimes. But for me, it's Liquid. Liquid shouldn't be there.
Oh yeah, that was
It's
an overperformance.
a very surprised that Liquid made it through. I guess I'm happy for them. They did take down FaZe, but they started off bad, like 0-2, and then just to claim those last 3 wins. Congratulations to them. That one's the most overperforming in a way for me for this bracket, and I expect them to go out at the beginning.
Yeah, MongolZ definitely
Tough
had
love.
a slow start for sure. Losing to 3D Max, which is 3D Max is kind of like a pain for me as well, where they're both very explosive. We've seen them beat some of the top teams at times. They have all looked really good at times, but they are not as consistent as those top teams, and that's why I think the MongolZ do make it out of here 3-1. Pain kind of squeaked by the skin of their teeth in some ways. I think they're going to get smoked by the Falcons in round 1, but they did make it there, so they have shown that they can get to that spot once again when they don't have to run into the big powerhouses of Vitality, Mouse, and Spirit.
And I think another thing to look at here with this graphic is like MongolZ has played 11 maps, so clearly they haven't had the best series. Like you look at Falcons, they played 3 series, they won every map. There's 6 maps that they played. Yeah, Aurora, they have 7. One of their series won an extra map because they lost one. G2 has 9 maps, but MongolZ is the #1 VRS team with 11 maps so far through this event. So kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think another one, like I know we kind of talked about FaZe a bunch earlier, and they made the announcement in between their first and their second match. They beat Pain, and then right before their second match is when they made the announcement. It's like, now that that announcement has been made, them not making the playoffs was expected. But had they not made this move, would it have been unexpected to them not to make the playoffs over some of these teams? That was really, I don't know why my voice got really loud, but continue.
I kind of think so, because I think when you look at FaZe coming into this event, they clearly have the potential and the firepower to make it. And if you're looking at it on paper strictly, they 100% should be in the playoff, in my opinion. So I think it's an underperformance, the fact that they haven't made it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, show.
Any other teams before we move on?
No.
All right, let's move to the feed. Nick, I believe you're first, buddy.
Let's go. Zontix, my boy, unfortunately had to step away from Spirit. There was a lot of rumors going around that it was mainly because of his visa issues, but he's came out and finally said, hey, look, there was an interview that he's been trying to leave this team for months now, just mental health, personal reasons, just a whole bunch of things. And it's crazy to me, even going back to what we were just talking about with FaZe and Rain, how he's saying that he wants to take a step away. Some of this stuff takes months to happen. So they really need to take a better look at this, how these events are formed and how many that teams are going to focus on player health, mental health, stability, and all that stuff. I feel bad that it took this long for him to find an out.
Yeah.
Not good.
I agree. It goes with just the amount of games that they play in Counter-Strike. It's
Yeah.
just insane. Like, I know we make fun of Valorant for how little games it has. Rightfully so. They do play too little. But, like, Counter-Strike is just the extreme opposite. And that takes its toll on players. And I know they do skip out on tournaments from here to there and kind of pick and choose. But there would be stints for months where they're just going back to back, flying across the country, participating in these long tournaments. And depending on what team you are, you're there for X amount of time longer, playing X amount more games. And it takes its toll. And mental health is something that we have gotten better as a society of recognizing now. But it's true for esports players as much as it is for any profession or any sport or anything. Good for them.
Yeah, Spirit is one of those teams that takes the most time off from most events. Like, you don't see Spirit in every event, so it's kind of a special one when they are there. But it is interesting that, one, he gave a notice and said, hey, I need a break from this, and that they took the time to go and find the right fit so that the rest of the team could be kind of squared away going into the next piece. And I think that's interesting because all parties were really patient in that process, which is good because you don't want to leave your team in a spot where they can't perform, especially with a star like Donk that they can go and win any event because of that. But it's nice that we're able to come together and get that spot where I think Tanir is going to do awesome for this roster. roster. He's looked really, really good, and I think that that'll be a great replacement to the point where it might even be an issue for Zontix trying to come back.
Zay will get kicked right back to the curb, unfortunately, just because he looked good for one map and hasn't looked good for the rest of it. But tough.
I was like, Jacob.
Oh,
There you go. That's tough. Davis, go ahead.
I have another Donk conversation here. I saw this graphic earlier, and it's Donk is my MVP, and it's based on his stats. We'll pull up the graphic here. He's consistently just ridiculous, like the lower third just said. Everything here is a comparison between him and ZywOo in 2025, and it says Donk leads in most stats, but ZywOo has 3 more MVPs. Who's number 1 right now? And the way I look at this is, instead of leading in most stats, I would say all but one. Donk leads in everything but MVPs. And so you look at that, and it's like ZywOo's on a team. Obviously, they went on a massive run, and they've been the best team of the year. There's no question by far. And that's why he has 7 MVPs, because you can't win MVP if your team doesn't win the event. And so that's why he's leading this stat category, because Spirit hasn't won as many events. But I just wanted to bring notice again to how insane Donk is. He's my best player of the year. I think he'll end up being the player of the year at the end of the year as well.
couldn't agree more. Donk is the best.
He doesn't. This guy don't like
just
Donk.
hate.
Donk is definitely the best, but I just find it funny that, like, yeah, sure, ZywOo has more MVPs, but it's like ZywOo's stats compared to Donk's were not like that far behind for the amount of hate that people give ZywOo. I mean, he is like, it feels like he is one of the most hated players, and I think it has a lot to do with those MVPs. You know, or the man who's normally on this show would probably sit here and say, it's like, he just gets MVPs because he's an opera and, you know, it should go to ROPS or stuff. And I do agree sometimes it does feel like he gets the MVP over some of his other teammates, but he, as seen by those stats, is really close to somebody that is considered a legend of the game right now. And this is a guy who's been in the game forever. So, but Donk, he's the rifling GOAT.
So if Spirit wins an event, Donk will likely always get the MVP because he's clearly the best player in all of Counter-Strike right now today. But it comes back to the same Karrigan conversation. It's like our intangibles is just crazy. Like, and the comparison is it's just different, right? I think these things are so different. But I do think that Donk, the more and more we talk about it, the more and more I've opened up to the idea that Donk is a great player, but I don't think that this team is always going to win just because of Donk. And we've seen that historically doesn't happen. So he can be as good as you want him to be, but it's not enough.
100%. Can't 1v5.
Can't 1v5. Okay, cool. On to the next. This one's my feed, and this is a really important message to everyone out there. The MongolZ have done it. They're the #1 VRS ranked team. They're on the top. Nobody is better than them right now. I don't want to hear anybody talk about Vitality or Spirit, Mals or Falcons. They're not there. It's MongolZ.
And I just want to say, I have to give CJ his praise here, because of multiple weeks ago, probably like a month plus, I remember CJ sitting right there and saying, MongolZ is the #1 team, and everybody called him crazy, including myself. But Dylan and Pat, we all lit into him. They're the #1 team. Can't say anything now.
I'm still going to light into them. They're not the #1 team. They may be the #1 team in this nice little ranking system they have, but they are not the #1 team. That is literally insane.
So who is
No,
number
they're
one?
not. They're the #1 team.
Here's the #1 team.
It's the Valve
Pat.
ranking.
I would say it's either right now, Spirit or Vitality. There you go. It's that easy. Those teams are way better than MongolZ. Those two teams. You know what? Even Falcons is probably better than MongolZ when they're actually playing good.
This is where it's like, I love it, and this is where the VRS ranking is way too confusing for anybody to understand. Because even Senzu came out the other day and said, cool, but we're not the #1 team until we take down Vitality. Plain and simple. We're not. They're even saying, they said it as soon as the rankings came out. They said, we're not the #1 team yet. Yeah, that #1 looks cool, but it's not us yet. Just give us time. So they're not the #1
They
team.
beat
beat
Vitality. They beat. I know he did tweet that. I know which tweet you're talking about, but he did actually beat Vitality. Because remember the Blitz crouch on Inferno where ZywOo missed a shot and Blitz turned on him? That was the win.
Let's
London.
rephrase.
Was it London?
Yeah, the semifinal.
In grand finals.
Oh, okay.
They lost in the grand finals at the major in Austin.
Yeah, they did lose in the major in Austin, but like they have proven to be a humble team, though.
Yeah,
like
100%.
They are not like
100%.
they're not like the Vitality Apex loud voice in the room.
We are
Like,
number one.
We're number one. They're not going to say that. They're just quiet and they're going to do their thing. And they're actually, if you watch their gameplay, they're super trolly as well. They just love to, if they can get a fun knife, they're going to get a fun knife. If they can make like a very explosive play, they're going to, which is a little bit trolly at times, which I love that about them. I think that's great.
I think they've earned it, earned the number one spot. They might not necessarily be your number one team in the world right now, and everybody has their own opinion, but they are the number one team in the rankings. So they've earned it.
Good for them. It won't hold. It will literally not hold very long.
We'll see you in a month. All right. Okay, Pat, what's your feed? What you got, man?
I done forgot. What is my feed? What is my feed? Oh, yes.
Terminal.
Yes, this new little terminal system thing that Valve has introduced, and it is just crazy to me. Okay, so basically you get this little terminal package, okay, and then you just like open it up, you unseal it, and then you basically get like 5 rerolls pretty much and it just randomly gives you a gun out of this, like it's like a crate almost. It's like there's a certain amount of guns within it, base same blue to red rarity, along with the gold. And you basically just pay what Valve sets as the price, which they say is reflective of the market. But it's so funny to me that this is just like, it's so weird because normally if you want to gamble in Counter-Strike, you get a crate, you buy a key, you get a roll, you get the thing. This is like an extra layer of you gamble and then you get the gamble, but you don't actually have the gamble until you pay money for it. But then you have to pay the actual money for it.
Because the price is dependent
Yeah,
on
the
rarity.
fun draw thing about crates, right, is you pay $250 and there's a chance you could get a $5,000 knife or whatever, right? But this is like you get that huge gun, okay, $1,700 you got to pay to get it. It's like, what? Excuse me? It's a really weird system to me, and it doesn't make much sense to me at all. Any opinions?
It makes sense to me. I don't know if I like it 100% yet, but I haven't really had enough time to see everybody drawing different skins and seeing what the price is. Because I mean, if it's a discounted price, number one, if it's like a little bit off the market value, then I think it's 100% valid because you're not buying a key for this. Like you get it from a drop. It's a free drop. You open it, and then you have the opportunity to buy these skins. Like I understand you have a crate that you get as a drop, but then you have to buy the key to gamble for it. And I'm sure the possibility of getting like a super rare skin from the crate is going to be way different than from this. You're probably way more likely to get a rare skin from this than you are a crate. And so you have to pay that number. But it'll be interesting to see what the actual pricing is like between the items. If it's like overpriced from market price or if it's a discounted price, I think it's completely valid.
It's like a crappy night market to the worst degree.
It's a little bit deal or no deal too, because you can get, hey, I don't want that item, I want the next item, oh, I don't want that one, and you only get to go 5 times, right? And so there's that. There's also this interesting concept that you're bringing up that I remember from economics class in high school, right? Which is people will pay with money, with cash dollars, because they believe in the currency. They believe that currency holds value as described by the U.S. government, right? And so the question becomes, do you believe that that skin holds value as described by the Valve market and the CSGO community? And sometimes the answer will be yes to that question, and sometimes it will be no. But the value of that item will be determined by your confidence in that question. And some people will have low confidence, which I think you're displaying a little bit, Pat. And some people will have higher confidence in what I think that dollar is worth. And so you're talking about the difference between those two things. And I think it's really interesting because some people are going to have very different opinions on how much things are worth.
I don't care about their opinions. I'm just going to be honest. I don't care about them. Okay. The fact is like it to me, what happens is it sucks early on because anytime a new crate comes out in Counter-Strike and people start opening them up, the value of the items is always overblown off the start because they're new. Some of the rare ones, it's like, oh, they're rare. But then as time goes on, those will continuously drop. Now, yes, people in the past have always just went and bought skins on the Steam market or third-party websites or whatever. So they're like, I don't want to do the gamble. I'm just going to pay $500 for this skin. But if you like get a red early on and the market value is high and you pay like $500 for it because you got it out of this, it's like most likely you're just going to get screwed out of your money because you're going to try to resell it months later and it's going to be worth hardly anything because the market is always fluctuating early on.
That was going to be my question. For these terminal key things, the community, you put your stuff in there and do you get the money or is Valve getting the money?
Valve gets the money.
Valve. 100% Valve.
So then
they're the bank.
If the market tanks, then interesting. Yeah,
That's why there's also
this-
market manipulation that
Yeah,
can be put into it.
I feel like a lot of it, like you're going to see the price of one of these terminals, and it's going to be like $600, and people are like, "Oh, I know exactly what's in that case based off of this, and this, and then it's like,
I will say though,
I don't know.
majority
this
of the
seems
most
sketchy.
expensive skins in the game are all super old skins. Like the new skins are the ones that are cheap because you can still get them. They're still dropping. They're still available. The skins that are rare and the most expensive ones are the ones that you can't get anymore.
So this would only be new.
Yeah, so it'll only be new.
Well, yeah, it's a whole new set of skins. It's basically like a crate within itself. It has a
Okay.
select number of skins in it, which is just like the blues, the pinks, purples, and then 2 reds.
It's definitely different, and it's definitely. I mean, as much as we like to hate on the gambling thing, and I say we, as really, I mean Pat. I mean, the entire professional esports landscape of Counter-Strike is propped up by loot cases. That is the business model. So in some ways, it's like Counter-Strike wouldn't be as successful as it is without that. So you kind of need it. So it is a necessary evil that we live within currently, because I think Counter-Strike is the best esport in all of the landscape. And so because of that, it has to have a dollar that's behind it, and there's the dollar. It's your personal.
If that's the case, then they don't need the gambling. That's
Okay.
my view on it. I completely agree with you that if the gambling was not there, Counter-Strike would fall apart.
Totally. Yeah.
It would not be anywhere what it is today, because there are so many people behind the scenes that make so much money off of all this bull crap that's going on. And I'm not talking about the smart investment crap. I get all that. I'm talking about just the straight up gambling sponsors, all that stuff. It's terrible.
So CS2 killed 100 Thieves, confirmed? Is that what we're saying?
No,
Go
no.
check
What
out
we're saying is
that
100T
video.
is getting into Counter-Strike here because Nate Shot's been on those gambling things, so he's just gonna be like,
He did open a lot of
Let's
cases.
get that back.
He spent a lot of money.
"Can we talk about Nate Shot? Is that relevant right now?"
Let's go to the playoffs for Fissure Playground. We're going to look at our pick'ems here and see who picked what team to win. I'm curious to see where the picks land. We've got our matches here.
You want to go match by match?
I'm down with match by match.
This first one might lead to some heat.
Okay, G2 versus MongolZ. Let's start first. Who wants to go first? Or is it going to, it's all
Let's do them all at once. Yeah.
all at once. Let it rip, Eli.
Boom.
Would anybody like to go first?
Fucking hands are
Actually,
sweaty,
we're
bro.
done.
Yeah.
Would you
I've
guys
been
like to
putting
go
them in.
first, or would you like us to go first?
Y'all go first. Just
It's
go.
MongolZ. It's the number one
Sure.
team in the game
Number
right
one
now.
VRS rankings. MongolZ wins this match for sure. Wins. W.
I don't know. I just have been riding the
I don't
G2
know.
hype train. It's kind of like Patrick picked them last week, and I didn't really believe in them, and then they went off and won the event. And I know they lost a series that already in this event so far to Furia, but I think Furia's been playing good. I think G2, that kind of put them on notice that, hey, we need to straighten up, play a little bit better, and I think they'll be ready for mine.
Who did the Mongols lose to?
3D Max.
What are we doing here? The Mongols are so inconsistent and floppy. It's crazy. Now, is G2 the best team in the world? No, not close. But I think
who
they
did
have the
G2
power to
beat
beat
to
Mongols.
get to this spot?
I can't remember.
Just a couple people.
Lin Vision,
couple
Legacy,
people.
and Gamer Legion. None of those teams are ranked in the top 16.
Mongols would have lost to those teams. That's all I'm saying. That G2 didn't drop a
They
match
beat
to
Lin
those
Vision.
teams.
Let's see the next match.
Ah.
I think the next one I'm going to get
Who
some
is
slack.
it? It's the.
What are you doing?
Oh,
Davis?
Davis, you're alone, so you get to go first, buddy.
I'm thinking that Liquid, they know their roster's done. It's getting blown up after this with Twist. They've been able to recover. If you would have asked me after they lost to Gamer Legion and got smacked by them, there's no chance that I would have picked them or even picked them to make the playoffs. But the fact that they've recovered like they have, I was saying earlier, I think Aurora's been playing good, but if Xantares arrives like he did against Furia, they'll get smoked, no problem. But if Xantares isn't playing like that, I think Liquid's got a real chance to beat them.
So when we get a lot of Aurora hate, do we just give them all of Davis's social medias so they can direct
Just
it in his
bombard
direction?
me.
You just don't believe in Aurora, huh?
We love Aurora.
Don't like
We
Turkish
think
people,
that-
huh? That's what we're getting at.
There's a chance this could go like the VP versus Falcon series, where Liquid only gets 3 rounds over 2 matches.
Yes.
There's a chance.
Nah, I don't think that. No, Aurora are not that great. Hold up, I know I picked them, but like, dude, Major. You know we love talking about Karrigan and how he's at the bottom. You know who's right above him? Major.
Yep, 100%. They're
Trust
both
me, Aurora is not a great team. I said this on the last episode. They are not fantastic by no metric, but they're better than Liquid.
I think it'll be, if they lose, I think it'll be close. Because like I said, I just think that they're so bought into this like this is our last event playing with Twiz, and he's going back to his home squad. Let's make this as good as we can.
They do that. This does seem to happen when you have a player that is leaving. You tend to have your best defense.
Falcons.
You guys are onto something over here. I like this.
Yeah.
Let's do the next match. What's our number 3? Who do we got?
Oh, we on board over here. Besides that last one,
Wait a
Why
minute.
do you guys have Astralis? They're gonna get smoked.
by the
Absolutely.
Mr. Inconsistent themselves. I love saying inconsistent because it's like all these teams are inconsistent. Furia is all over the place. If Molodor isn't popping off with the op, they're literally trash.
In the playoffs, the Furia is always trash in the playoffs. They have their pop-off matches, but when you get to the playoffs, they always fall. And
Didn't you just say that that's
Fallen
why-
has fallen.
Yeah,
G2 lost to one team. in
and
the
that
group
was
stage.
Furia.
What was that one team?
Furia.
Furia.
So is
That's
Furia
right.
good or are they bad?
No, they're good. That's what, in the group stage.
No, they're bad.
In the group stage.
That's different.
When it gets to playoffs, way different.
It is. It's a
do or
different
die
atmosphere.
time.
Yeah,
do or die
I'm telling
time.
you.
And
Furia
you got
can't win.
Device, you got Magis back in his home place. Steven's playing good. Astralis wins.
You heard it here first. Furia's going to take this one. It's not going to.
Let's go, Astralis. Let's go, baby.
Let's see the last one. This one's going to be Falcons versus Pain.
I'm pretty
I
sure
can't
we're
even
all
think
in
that.
agreement here.
Since that's a clean sweep across the board, and we're not going to. We're really saying Magic's in 2025 is what's going to carry them over.
I'm not saying he specifically is going to carry. I think I believe in Astralis more than I believe in Furia. I don't see how
Where do you
that's
put-
so controversial.
Where do you put Hooksy in the IGL conversation?
I wouldn't
He's been
put him
playing good. I don't know
very
if he's
high.
not to the level of Fallen all time, but I think the experience of this Astralis roster could really make them prevail over Furia.
I think
in the
Hooksy is a
playoffs.
better individual player than most IGLs.
100%.
He actually gets some
Wait,
kills.
he can,
100%.
he can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time? That's crazy.
He doesn't go -40 a lot like some people
That's
do.
wild.
He actually goes positive a fair amount.
Okay, give me your who makes finals and the winner.
Wait, I need to see the bracket then again.
You want to show the bracket really quick, please? We would
Because I know who I got winning, but I don't know which direction it's gonna fall.
I get it. I
Yeah.
understand.
I can go first too while he gets the bracket up. I got Falcons from the bottom side and MongolZ from the top side making it.
And a winner?
Falcons, baby.
No, I have the same as Davis, and I was literally talking to our TD on this one, Mr. Eli the Ninja himself, and I said out loud, I said the Falcons will win this event, and then I thought to myself, how many times have I said that? I've said that too many times, and they never win when they get to the finals. This will not be a Falcons event. It's going to be finals, Falcons versus MongolZ, and MongolZ win.
Go, Pat.
Go, Pat.
Actually, I need to
Go
change
ahead.
mine.
you can change. You
No, I
can
need, I
change.
needed to change mine.
Change,
I actually
change.
think it's G2 Falcons and Falcons. win.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I forgot.
Okay.
I
Oh,
forgot.
yeah, you
let's
did
go.
pick
Yeah, I
G2.
picked exactly.
This
I picked
guy.
G2.
That's true. I wasn't going to call you out. But
Let's go, baby. Right here. Top G2. Bottom, hear me out.
Wait a minute.
Astralis, baby. Astralis, but G2 wins. G2 win again, baby. Let's go. G2 Astralis. Falcons are going to choke because they always do, and that's what it's going to
Are they gonna choke versus Astralis or versus Pain?
I mean, I put them beating Pain because I would like to think they wouldn't choke against Pain.
Sure.
But let's be real.
Yo, Snows.
It can
Snows
definitely
pretty
happen.
Good.
It
Snows
could
pretty good.
definitely happen.
Sure. Nick.
Aurora
Oh my. Okay.
Boo.
Mongols.
loses to Falcons. Falcons
Solid
finally
Solid
finally get over the hump. Coach was talking earlier today, and he was like, "Yo, we brought in Kaisuke. Things were rough. We propped them up on a little pedestal, literally. But Nico and Tessis floundered in their new roles. However, they've had some times to adapt and overcome. They're looking good. Here's their time to shine. This is it. This is the event for them. Mickey Mouse number 2.
I think that's a great pick.
Let's
Great
go.
pick.
What'd you pick, CJ? I forgot.
Mongols, baby.
Mongols
Oh, you picked Mongols?
Number 1.
Mongols versus Falcons.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was in my head at that moment. I wanted to make sure you stayed locked
No,
in.
no, no.
'cause
It's
I'm gonna
fine.
Call
I'm gonna
you
switch.
out the moment.
I'm gonna go G2.
I'm gonna call you out the moment you flop on them Mongols. The moment you don't believe, I will be there.
It's hard because I have this secret, like, I'm rooting for the Falcons, but they have never shown that they can do it at this point. And I'm done
they
believing in the
will.
hype. I'm done believing in the Falcons hype. No more.
Well, when you jump the train, we're going all the way.
That's right. Go for it.
They lost.
Watch, it'll be, you guys will be right on this
They're-
one too.
I think it's
so stupid.
It's
Yeah, there you go. Okay. There's another event going on right now.
right now.
Right? Meow. Okay. It is going on today. And there's a couple teams in here. Actually, a lot of these teams are battling for some points so that they can go to the Budapest Major in a couple months here. And then those October 6th is when the invites actually go out for this. So this matters for some of these teams if they want to make that major. And the first one I'm looking at that it matters for is B8. B8 is one of those things that they're kind of in the top 30 right there, and they need to make it through. And then 9 at the top there, they're ranked 34 right now. So if they can beat a Navi, if they can beat any of those other teams, they may get some points to be able to make that major. But ultimately, this is one of those that, I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, there's a NIP and a Navi, and those should be the finals.
Now wait a minute. We're sleeping on
Who are we sleeping
Complexity, aka Passion United.
on? No.
we're not
sleeping
sleeping on
on that. We will never go to sleep.
You know what? I've actually, and this is a deep callback for Davis and I. I've got Nip beating Navi in the grand finals.
That's good.
Plain and simple.
I don't even think Navi.
It's been going
making it.
crazy, bro. They've been turning up. In League, too, they were turning up. They've already are done in League.
I just want to be very clear
They were
on
turning up.
the mental state that will happen from the Navi players if that is the case. If Alexi B and that crew cannot win this event, it is
Chalk.
they are so chalked mentally.
It doesn't even make sense why they even decided to
Are here.
participate
Yeah.
in this event.
I agree.
I guess
maybe they need
They must
practice.
just wanted, yeah, they must have just wanted more maps and practice, but I agree. There's like, they should not be at this event.
The only top 10 team there.
I mean, free money.
That's true.
Hey,
half a milli.
Now when you put it that way,
Free money they're not gonna get because they ain't winning.
Who's
gonna
winning? Complexity.
Dude, no. Ew, no. I mean, I think Nib could.
no
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like a B8 or a was OG. There's the other team. Those are decent teams. They're not the greatest by no means.
dude,
but
I will say,
they're a decent team.
OG has not been looking good though. I will say that. I saw OG play Simple's team BC game the other day. They
Yes.
got absolutely smacked. BC game.
Wait, did we almost go a full episode without saying the word simple?
I had-
You,
I had
you
to-
brought Simple up early
Oh,
on,
I did.
and
So
then I mentioned him. Some
one thing, Davis and I were looking before the show on the VRS rankings, and BC Games is ranked 41 right now. And I don't think they can make this major, but if they continue on the path they are, they could make it to the next major if they beat some teams along the way.
They were
As
like
the-
60 or 70 something when
They were.
Simple got put
Yeah.
on the team.
I was about to say, as the guest, I could say a stupid comment. The VRS points are tied to the individual. So if they pick up an Alige and a Dexter and maybe the other Magics,
No.
Hey,
they're major
we don't
Hey.
want the other Magics.
Yo,
Let's leave
Simple
them
at
alone.
another
Wait,
major?
he's on BC Gaming now.
I mean, I'm just speaking. I'm speaking for them right now.
Even
That's
though
all it
Simple isn't a top 50 player.
Well, they might get a chance to play against Fnatic as well in that finals for the Challenger League they're currently playing in. So that could be something that at least sets them a little bit higher. Maybe they get
Yeah,
to
Fnatic's like number 20
Yeah.
and BC's 42. So if they win, they'll definitely get some points. We don't think it'll be enough to get them to the major, but who knows?
It's not a major without Simple.
It's
Exactly.
not a major without Simple.
That's
Somebody's got to
100%.
pick them up. We love BC Games and their gambling, right, Pat? Thanks for watching Queued Up. We appreciate you joining us here today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. And go MongolZ.
No.
Falcons.